Hello. Today we're going to be drawing people using proportion. You're going to need a sticky note, a pencil, and a piece of paper. We're going to begin by drawing the head. You want to make sure that it's small enough that you can fit 5 heads onto your piece of paper, and yet big enough so that you can put the features inside. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my head right about here, nice and round, nice and big. Now I'm going to use my sticky note to make a ruler that is the measurement of one head. I line up my sticky note in the center of my head with the very edge of the sticky note touching the top of the head. Then where the bottom of my head is, I'm going to draw a line out and do my best to extend it straight across to the other side. It doesn't have to be exact. Now, before I get confused, I'm going to draw an arrow on the side that is the measurement of one head, and then I'm going to make some X's here so I don't confuse myself. Okay, now we need to measure out 5 heads. We talked in class about the human body if we want to draw cartoons or just a quick little draw to get the idea of proportions. 5 heads is a good measurement. An adult human is between 5 and 8 heads. Now I'm going to go ahead and line up the top of my sticky note with the bottom of my head, and I'm going to move it over a little bit because I kind of want these lines to be centered underneath the head. I'm going to just take this line here and extend it across onto my paper just like this. Now I've got the measurements of 1, 2 heads. I need to make 3 more measurement lengths. Lining up right there. Now I have 3, 4, and 5. Simple as that. Now, this is going to be the height of our whole human body. Let's double check that we've got 5 head measurements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is really important that you actually make a ruler that is 1 head long. If you don't do that, then as you kind of guess where it's going to be, you start changing your finger width, and you'll end up with a disproportionate person. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the face. Now we know that the eyes are in the middle of the head, so we're going to we're doing a kind of a cartoon person, so I'm just gonna put those eyes right there, keep it simple. I'm gonna use a simple, easy nose. And then we talked about how our eyes, our mouth is the width of our eyes. So if I take my eyes and I start my mouth on one side, it should be as long as the eyes are separate from each other. And now the ears are the width or the height of the eyes to the bottom of the nose. So when I draw ears, I want to make sure that I make them really skinny. The wider they are, the more Dumbo-like they look. So we want them nice and skinny C's, the letter C. Oops, my pencil just broke. Good thing I have an extra. There we go. The next feature that we want to make sure we have, especially when we're doing cartoon characters, are the eyebrows, because those are what give the personality or the mood, emotion of the person. So if I make my eyebrows point straight down, then he's going to look angry. If I point them up, surprised. So whatever you end up deciding is going to change the mood or the emotion of your person. I'm going to make him kind of funny. Like, huh? What's going on here? Now, we can't do the hair until we do the neck. The neck is also the width of the outside edge of the eyes, and since we're just using dots for our eyes, we can just use our eyes as that measurement. We've talked before that it's so easy to make a giraffe neck. The way to avoid that giraffe neck is making it wider than you think. Use those eyes as your measurement for your neck. There we go. And let's go ahead and put the shoulders on. That way, if you want to make a girl, you have somewhere for the hair to fall onto or fall next to or behind. Believe it or not, our shoulders are about the width. Each shoulder is about the width of one head. So as I line up I'm going to line up the edge of my sticky note with the center of my head, and then I'm going to draw a line. Now, since we're drawing cartoons and we didn't really use any measurements to make our head, it's not going to be completely accurate because the width of our head isn't necessarily proportionate to the rest of the body since we didn't use any rules to draw the head. Now I'm going to turn it over here on this side. And if you noticed, when I did it this way, my arrow was pointing up to the sky, and I used that to the top of the paper, and I used that as my measurement there. Then when I go to do the other side, my arrow has to point down. So I'm going to line it up with the center of my head all over again, but this time it's going to be lower, isn't it? So I'm going to actually raise it up so I make my spots in the same spot, my measurements in the same spot. So there's the middle of my head, and I'm going to pull that over here. Now, just remember, some of you, your shoulders might look too wide, and that's because your head is not a wide head. That is completely fine. If you need to pull it in a little bit, you can do that. So as I draw my head, or my shoulder, I'm just going to pull it out over to about there, but I'm not going to go any further than my shoulder. Okay, now we have enough that we can do the hair. Now the hair comes down onto the head. Remember, the top of the head is a lot higher up than we think, and that's because we cannot see the hairline. The hairline goes down about 1/3 to 1/4, and when we are drawing hair, we think about the contour lines. We focus first on the line that separates the hair from the face, and we draw that first. Now, this, as of right now, could be a girl, it could be a boy. It's really up to you how you decide. So I'm going to use that. And then the second line that we use is drawing the line that separates the hair from the air, from the sky. So that line, because we're doing cartoons, it can be a little bit exaggerated. And I'm going to make this as a boy, just like that. Then I erase that line that separates the head, the old line that was the top edge of the head. I'm going to get rid of that. You can also use it just to kind of add some texture and just incorporate that line into your texture. Okay? Super simple, super easy. If you were to draw a girl, it's kind of the same thing. The big thing to remember there is make sure that when you draw her hair, this is a quick little one, but that's okay, it touches the neck. The hair is behind the neck, which means that it should look like the neck is overlapping the hair. Okay? There we go. Just a quick little draw. I want her to have big crazy hair, so I'm going to keep adding. There. I like that. Okay. Now, let's move on. We cannot draw the arms until we've drawn the legs because we need the legs as a measurement for the arms. The waistline is just about the 3rd head down, which means here's 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads. I'm going to draw my waistline right here. Okay? And then we can go ahead and draw our legs. We're going to pull the line all the way down on the outsides. Okay? Cross over a little bit to show where the bottom of the pant leg is. And then when we connect the legs together, we use an upside down V. Then you can just kind of add some shoes on. Remember, it's a cartoon character, so you can make them fun and crazy if you like. Okay, so we've got that. I think his waist is a little bit too big. I'm going to fix that. Remember, in art, we turn our mistakes into not a mistake. Adjusting and adapting is just part of the art creative process. There we go. I like that better. Okay, now the hands, well, the arms go a lot longer than we think. Most of you guys, when you're drawing people, let's go ahead and extend up like this and like this. There, we've got the torso. Now, most of you guys, when you draw people, you make your arms go down to the waist. But if you stand up and measure your arms, they actually come all the way down here to the middle of the thigh. So when we draw them, we're going to draw them a lot longer than we think. Before we do that, let's go ahead and make our shirt sleeve. I'm extending this line from the shoulder and bringing it across to the edge of the shirt. I do the same thing on the other side. Pull it down and connect it to the torso. Now, when I go to draw my arms, if my hands are way down here, that means the arm, my wrist, is going to be right in about here. So I'm going to pull it down to about here, and I'm going to make him skinnier. There we go. And now, since it's a cartoon character and hands are one of the harder parts of the body to draw, we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to make it like mitts, okay? The thumb does go on the inside of the arms, not the outside. A lot of times we draw the thumbs pointing out, but if you try that, you're going to find out it is not a natural way of standing. It's actually pretty uncomfortable to do that on a long-term, for a long time. So I'm going to draw my thumb, and then I'm going to draw my hand and divide the fingers. Simple. Draw the thumb, draw the hand, divide the fingers. There we go. We've got our person. For you, you can change the clothes. You can make it into a skirt. You can do all sorts of different things with it. But if I were you, I would color it, maybe make a pattern or a design on the shirt, figure out what you'll do with the pants. Will you add a little bit of texture to the pants and make them look like blue jeans or corduroys? You can do, once you've got the basic structure, you can do a lot with this. And those of you who love to make comic books, if you start to get yourself in the habit of using basic proportions, then as you draw your comic books, they're going to become more lifelike and more animated. Don't forget those eyebrows give so much emotion. Okay, thank you for drawing with me today. We'll see you again later.